Trying. There we go. Oh, look at that. We're actually live. I'll have to play the intro at some point. There you go.
Uh-oh. Hello, hello,
There
hello,
you go.
hello.
Well, we're warming it up for the fans. So, and then we'll go from there. And we'll have to explain why one of us is dressed like a proper gentleman and
Okay,
the
okay,
other is
okay.
not.
And
Is
the other
not.
one's in a tuxedo.
Yeah,
That's
but
the way
there
it
you have
goes.
it.
Or a dinner
Look at
jacket, even.
you. Look at you having humor.
I'm going.
Humor.
Listen. I'm enjoying what I think is possibly the one last day of summer that snuck into London somehow. I
Okay.
went for a walk this morning, and I swear I came back. I dressed up. I put a
Yeah.
rain jacket on and something warm, and I went for a walk. And I thought, what the hell am I doing? It's like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's sunny. The sun was beating down on me, and so on my screen in front of me, which you can't see, I've got scenes of Miami playing right now, and I've gone back
Wow.
into Miami mode, which I
All right.
was expounding all summer,
Okay.
and I thought, why not?
All right.
Well,
Well,
forget
like,
Miami right now. Forget Miami right now. Actually, we're going Cuban as usual. Not now. This one extra special cigar. Extra
is
special
it? All
cigar.
right. Well, hold on. You know what we're going to do in a second?
Hmm.
Now that the fans are joining us, because we don't like to start the show without the fans. We're going to start the show officially,
Yes.
and then we're going to tell everybody what we're smoking and drinking. And the dancing girls come out. It's a whole thing. It's going to be very exciting. So here
I
we go.
dare you. I double dare you to go to titles.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment, with over 100,000 YouTube subscribers and rapidly growing to be the most watched and podcast cigar show broadcast globally. The Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show, exclusively on 2OF Entertainment.
That
Well,
wasn't
welcome
funny. That
everybody to
wasn't
the
funny.
show.
That was a dare, double dare, and you just
I
went
know it
back.
was.
You did. You went into poker face, and you went
Boom.
button.
Oh yeah, that's all it took. You can't dare me. I'm in a tux. Now, first of all, there's only two of us here today. So if you're here for the Salmonet, the great Usman had a family
Oh,
emergency. He won't be joining us today, and the viewership now is just going to go. But if you want just the two novices, you have us. Um, and who knows where we're gonna end up talking about and what we're going to talk about today. But first, I know he'll be smoking his Cuban. I'm smoking a non-Cuban. I'm smoking a Viga Fina Year of the Dragon, which
oh,
is
really?
actually, yeah, it's actually not a bad little stogue. So for you people that are buying New World cigars or non-Cubans, this is a nice little cigar for you. If you'd like, there you go. Let me give you a little
That brings up
picture.
an interesting question, by the way.
Yeah. I have several
Hang
questions,
on.
but there you go. Go ahead. Oh yeah, yes. Now, I'm sorry. Our official Cuban here will now give us the thing. And look. This is the part that you like. Is the nice little labels. Look, there's a little label that I
I
guess
love labels. I
I'm gonna
love
I'll
labels. I
bring this
love
one to
bands.
London and I'll give that one to you when I see you in London.
As we were having a chat last time.
Yeah.
Often, a cigar smoker is smoking the band. Not literally, but you know what I mean. Is you're picking and
Hmm.
choosing labels. Just given this yesterday evening by a very, very nice cigar smoking buddy of mine, a very
Hmm.
nice friend. He's given me what most people, hang on, let's see if I can get a little bit of focus on that. There you go. So that's the Por Laranaga Galanes. This is an aged Galanes. So this
Wow.
Galanes, he asked me, in fact, as we went live, I got messages from him saying, let me know when you smoke the Galanes. Let me know what you think about it. I'm going to smoke it now. I haven't contact.
It's
But
like, yeah, I'm gonna
this,
let you know live what I think of it. So yeah, you'll know in a minute.
you know what? It's fabulous. It's
Okay.
absolutely okay. So the whole point of aging, if I can, there's some people who know something about aging. There's some people there who know stuff about, who've forgotten
He's
things about aging that I've yet to learn. So you've got the
right.
whole crowd there, right? Aging in Cuban cigars. Cuban cigars got generally complex aromas
Right.
and flavors associated with them, as
Right.
compared to the newer cigars, or the as Usman likes to say, the what did he
Non-Cuban.
say? The non-Cuban cigar.
Non-Cuban. Right. The poor person cigar. We
The
got it.
aging
Yeah.
process is meant to diminish the um, uh, let's say the strength of the cigar whilst retaining the flavors.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it's all in the wording, to be honest with you, because the wording can be confusing. But most people, I think, including me, used to
Yeah.
think that aging processes with cigars just diminish them and bring them to a smoother, creamier level.
Okay.
More sophisticated people than me, more learned people than me, have advised me that the point of aging a cigar is to take the sting out of the cigar, to take the ammonia out, the
Right.
nicotine out, so that you can taste the notes more clearly,
Wow. All right. I'm
whilst
gonna.
also getting. So how can I say this? Imagine if you had. I'm just going to make up an example here, right?
If you would. Sure.
If you had apple juice and orange juice mixed together,
Yeah.
okay, and you loaded it up with vodka, after a while, all you would taste is the vodka. But if you
Okay.
diminish the vodka, you would start tasting the apple juice and the orange juice separately a little bit more. I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain it, so I'm just making it up as I go along. But in my mind, that's what the aging process does. Now, in this particular case, I'm smoking a cigar. It's quite an open cigar. In other words,
Mhm.
the leaves are a little bit less tightly packed together, less moisture. So it's smoking quite easily. The draw is really, really good.
Okay.
Let me have one more puff.
Sure.
That's beautiful. And now I retrohale the cigar. In other words, I push my tongue up against the top of my mouth
Right.
and blew the smoke out through my nostrils, through the sinus, thereby tasting the cigar, passing the smoke over what is called the ear, nose, throat area at the back. That's in the medical sense. So you're getting taste up here as well, not just on your tongue and not just on your lips.
Very nice.
So used to be this cigar, this Galantis, which I've smoked quite a lot of in the last year. It used to have for me, a very grassy, rich, um, sort of a deepish kind of flavor in that way, not particularly woody. And that's why I enjoy the Galantis. I don't get too much cedar or wood out of it, but
Okay.
I get a sort of a grassy earthiness out of it, right? Now I'm smoking this now as an aged cigar, and the feedback to my very dear friend who's given this to me, I won't mention. I tend not to mention names.
Because he hasn't paid us, so that's
It
why. But that's
is
okay.
that
Yeah.
it is a lighter cigar, and I'm getting
Oh,
those notes much more easily in the back of my nose and in my sinus, and I'm enjoying the experience even more intensely. I'm actually drawing for more flavor. And
nice.
usually I'm not. I'm sounding a little bit sommelier like, but I'm trying to compensate
And
for
you
the
are.
smart here. Yes, I'm not usually a balanced cigar person.
You're
My
not a balanced
weighting,
person at all. So I
I
mean, you know.
I that's rich
You
coming
know.
from you. And
Yeah.
the thing is,
Touche, sir. Touche.
you know,
So
half my friends at school were North London Jews, so this is the
right.
riffing that would go on, right? So
Oh,
there's a little
I'm
bit of
aware.
that's imparted on
Yes,
me, right? Yeah.
I'm aware.
Right. You get
That's why
it,
we
and
get
I know
along.
you
We
get
get that.
it.
That's why we get along so well. So it's like there's, and I'm gonna let you finish your thing. But what people have to understand is when you smoke cigars with your mates, riffing on each other or picking on each other, that's just part of it. And nothing like women can't do this. You can never say what I just said to
Well,
if a woman said that to a woman, they wouldn't speak for 20 years. Men can
well.
get away with this and it's all
Well,
good.
I know you use that as an excuse, but actually, I find it quite acerbic. This attack on mental health of each other. I go very easy on you. I love you, and I will
Right.
only give you complimentary words, but I will never attack you in the way that you attack me.
Wow. Wow. Are you really going for that sympathetic, like, oh, I'm the poor me, whatever?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to start recording
I've
the
no
off
way.
air crap.
So I will poke and prod and poke and
Yeah.
prod until I get a bloody reaction. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's the passive aggressive, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
the aggressive aggressive.
Right.
But what I
Anyway.
was saying is, in
Yeah.
terms of my personal cigar preference, I like aroma more than I like the flavor of a cigar,
Yes.
which will sound a little bit barbaric to those most cigar aficionados, I think, or most real cigar aficionados go for balance. They go for balance of aroma,
Right.
taste, draw. They want those three harmonizations to take place at the same time. I'm a little bit out there.
Right. Sure. Oh boy.
I say screw all that. I
Yeah.
just want the cigar to smell really good on
Yeah.
me, and I want
Yeah.
other people to be lured in by the intoxicating aroma of a fine Cuban cigar.
That was, can I tell you, a little tear is forming, and I also threw up in my pants. Um, I thought that's how you think
That's
about.
almost sweet and sour.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna have Chinese later now. No, I'm kind of the same way because as we've discussed on many shows, I can't really taste, even with the Cubans, I get a little bit, but really to me, it's the aroma of the cigar that I like. I get a little like this one, every cigar, I get a little bit of something, but I can't go, oh, it's nutty, it's fruity, it's leathery, blah, 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 blah. So for me, I don't want to say, oh, I taste this, I taste that, because I really can't. So there's no reason for me to lie. But to me, it's the aroma. I enjoy that smell of the cigar. And to
There,
your point, yes, whether it's on me, in the air, whatever it might be, there's just something about that that's just this, ah,
I
this,
suspect, I suspect you and I are sort of at a similar place in our cigar smoking preferences.
right,
Most cigar aficionados would see it as slightly simplistic. I think the aroma. I can step out of my body and analyze this in a different way. The aroma is meant to be the allure, or the
right,
lure and the allure. After that, you come for the aroma, you stay for the taste. That's sort of a
mm,
very old cigarette advert, if you know what I
right,
mean.
right, right.
Come for the style, stay for the taste.
Yeah, yeah,
The aroma is what draws you in, and it sort of you marinate in it. But actually, the whole point is to get to the various notes. And what I enjoyed about Usman Al Sommelier, who's not here this week, he's got a little bit of
emergency.
an emergency to
Yeah,
attend to, so sympathies with him, and
yes,
I hope everything works itself out.
that's right. Isn't he took Viagra? He said, and it's been over 4 hours. I think that was
I
the emergency.
I I I you said it, and 1 or 2 episodes ago, Usman had this
Right,
very interesting kit. I'd never seen this kit. I'd never heard of this kit. If you remember, he had a kit of, I think it was 8 or 12 little vials of oil.
vials. Yep. Last two shows
Uh,
he did. He did the last two shows. He
right.
showed the kit.
And that kit, I've never heard of it, never seen before Usman.
Right,
So for people who have difficulty tasting the cigar or
right,
tasting or identifying for themselves, well, what is it I'm tasting? And it's a little bit complex. I don't know if it's this or that or if it's a mixture. Those are meant to just give you a sort of a key guide as to, oh, this is a bit like cedar, this is a bit
right.
like oak, this is a bit like coffee, and those are sort of in an interesting way meant to push you into start tasting. If you're not tasting the cigar before, maybe you
Right.
start tasting it now, and maybe you start looking for your favorite taste, which you never really thought about. I mean, it is a journey. It's
Right.
some people are very, very sophisticated. The same person who gave me this cigar, okay, I joke behind his back. This is what he does with his cigar, and I've actually taken a cue from him, and I've
Right.
started doing it. I'm kind of this is what he will do. He'll take this cigar, and sort of about 10 inches away from his nose, he'll make little circles like this, and smell it
Hmm.
in, and he exactly the exact way that you're doing it, and he like almost like a wine sommelier. These
Right.
wine sommeliers and these wine
Yeah.
experts are really, really, really. They can, by sipping the wine, smelling the wine, looking at the aroma, looking at the bouquet, looking at the
Right.
color of the wine against a white background, they can work out which obviously which country, what grape, what vineyard. They'll get down to
Right.
what village. They'll get down to which field in which village. I mean, they're at nerd level when it comes to these things. And my friend on this cigars, he will do this,
And he'll get the same
and
thing.
and he'll go, this was rolled by the lady on the third desk at the
Wow.
back of the. And that's a joke. That's a joke I make
Right.
behind his back. But he's
Right.
at nerd level. And when I say nerd, I don't mean the
In a
bad
good
nerd
way.
level. I don't
Like,
mean the
yeah.
geeky nerd.
Yeah.
I'm talking about someone with a very, very, very refined palate and a very refined sense of smell.
Right.
And he will tell me that this cigar is going to develop in this way. This
Oh,
cigar is a little bit sugary. This one's a little bit cedary, but going into the and just the process of watching someone like that. Okay,
right.
you may not get it first time, you may not get it second time, but the process of watching someone like that again and again does entice you into, well, I've been doing it. I've been like, what is it that I'm actually getting out of the aroma? Okay.
Right.
And then the complex, well, not complex, but sort of the riffing conversations that we have about cigars
Right.
is I have noticed that if you create a cloud of smoke around you, okay, so let's say, so I've got this smoke around me,
Right.
okay, and I'm getting a certain aroma. The person 2 feet away is getting a slightly evolved aroma. It's
Aroma.
not the
Okay.
exact same. And then the more interesting thing is that the person on the other side of the room, if they're smelling your cigar, are getting another sort of evolved aroma. So, litmus paper. When we
Right.
were at school, when we would do these things with litmus paper to work out acids and alkalis, and you would see
Right.
the color separation. So as you walk away from a cigar smoker, the smoke, it has an underlying smell, but it will be different. So if I'm walking down the street in London, and I catch a whiff of cigar smoke, I'm like a fucking shark.
Me too.
Sharks can taste blood a
Yeah.
mile away. I get the whiff of a cigar all the way down the street.
Yep.
And when it's a Cuban cigar, your heart jumps because there is a certain sophistication of smell. It's like, oh wow,
Right.
someone's smoking a wonderful cigar.
Right. That's true.
So
That's very true.
So, but then that comes back to the thing. The aroma is the pull in, but you should stay for the evolution of the flavor, the taste of the cigar. And sometimes you taste it on your lips, sometimes on the tip of your lips, on the tip of your tongue, in your mouth. Sometimes if you're retrohaling at the back. So I mean, the reason I went into this little bit of a rant just now is because more and more as of late, I'm enjoying pushing the boundaries of my cigar smoking to merely just blowing smoke and enjoying the aroma. And that's all I wanted to share with you on this day where our sommelier is AWOL, absent without leave.
Well, that just
Having riffed me about it, he himself has gone absent. And that's called karma. Now, I don't wish it on anyone, but what goes around comes around.
Well, you're only supposed to take one Viagra pill, not 6. So I'm just saying, when you do that, this is what happens. So pay attention, kids. Don't take your
Oh,
Viagra, scotch, and cigars. So
and because I was enjoying the cigar so much,
you
I
just,
proverbially ashed myself.
oh, well, here, I'm going to do a
That
close up
is
of you while you're
so.
ashing
Well, it's
yourself.
gone now. It's gone. And ashing oneself, I'm convinced, is a good luck charm. It means you're enjoying it. You're enjoying the moment, and you're not one of these people that sort of, oh, can I stand my cigar? Well, I've done that many times, but can I stand my cigar up on on the ash, and let's see what the integrity of the ash is. There's standing your cigar up is a sort of a bit of a party trick. Some people can do it really well, but actually your cigar has to support you in that because it has to have the integrity of ash in order to achieve this process.
That's very true. I've never been able to
Actually,
I've never been able to do that, by the way. My cigars do not support me or my ash. So there you go.
well, go on my Instagram, go on Osman's Instagram. Well, mine's very simple. You will find links, or you'll find one or two posts where I've just stood it
Yeah.
up on an ashtray,
Yeah.
and it's just it's a bit of fun. But actually, what it says, the ash on this is so strong, the layers are so refined that it can be an architectural project.
Yeah, it's listen, some of the construction of the cigars is a masterpiece. So I'm not taking anything away from it. I've just never been able to, even when the nubs came out, that was their claim to fame is you can do it. So I lit up a nub and I did it and it fell down. It's just
You've
probably,
reminded me. You've absolutely reminded me because last year, sort of roughly at this time, another friend of mine who I was smoking with I was actually smoking with both of these people last night. He gave me a nub to smoke,
okay.
and I was shocked. It's not a particularly big cigar.
It's a nub. It's like a midget's penis.
You walk
Right.
Basically, it's the kind of cigar you like. It's not an expensive cigar. You walk around, you blow smoke.
Right.
It's a relatively big ring gauge. So I don't measure ring gauges. This is a big ring gauge, medium ring gauge,
It's 54.
it's a nervous ring gauge.
It's like a 50 or 54 ring gauge if you're measuring it.
I think it's 54.
Yeah, I think it's mega. It's mega. I think it's like the CIO Brazilian Amazon. It's a 54 where like it should be able to stand up on its own.
Did I mention I've smoked a 70 ring gauge cigar?
Holy moly! No, you have not. I've seen that in a porno, but never in real life.
Well,
So
I think I did mention this, but because I've
okay.
got what's that affliction where you forget
ADD,
things?
MOUSE, Alzheimer's. I'm going with all of them.
Dementia.
So
I forgot what it
dementia.
was for a
Okay.
moment.
Yeah.
But I smoked a cigar called Texas Lancero. That was about 3 years
Mm.
ago. It was 70 ring gauge, 70-inch cigar. A horrible, horrible
Oh,
cigar.
I was going to
And
say.
it didn't take me. The guy behind the counter said, "This is going to take you 5 hours to smoke." It took me 3 days to smoke because I couldn't. I just kept looking. It's one of those cigars that sits in your ashtray, and you look at
Yeah.
it and you think, "No, I don't want to smoke it." Then you pick it up and you have two puffs. And no, I don't want to smoke it. And it just you haven't got the guts to throw it away, and you haven't got the guts to smoke it either. So it just stays in the ashtray. It's one of
But
those
see, I
kind of
won't
things.
relight. I won't relight it with my. If I go away for 2 hours and come back, I have to have a new cigar. I won't relight a cigar that I've lit and went away.
Oh, well then you've missed heaven and earth because one of the really nice things to do
Yeah.
is when you have a late evening cigar at home in the
Right.
lounge and fill the
Sure.
lounge with smoke. Uh,
Yeah.
I do you do that, or are you allowed to do that?
So no, I have a rule with the head
Oh,
of the
the rule.
studio that
I
yes,
see.
I have a rule that I'm allowed to smoke anywhere in the world but in the house. So that's why when we do the cigar show,
So
I am outside studio.
the only place in the whole world where you're comfortable, you're not allowed to smoke. Okay, well, okay,
Yes. Well,
all
you
right.
know.
Well, okay, we won't dissect that.
No, not now. We
We won't
will.
dissect that online. What I'd like to say is
Yeah.
sometimes I light up a cigar late evening at 11
Yeah.
o'clock.
Right.
I'll have a movie. I'll have a black and white movie on. I'll light up a
Yeah.
cigar, and then I'll think, you know what? I'm really a bit too. I'm really enjoying myself. I'm really a bit too tired. But I've got into this habit that I like to leave maybe up to the band of a cigar
Okay.
sitting in the ashtray because the next morning after breakfast
Yeah.
with a coffee, that
Really?
relight is great fun.
I'm gonna try it now. I will try that. I will
The
try that.
relight is great fun.
Okay.
Because not only have you got breakfast to look forward to, there's that
The
little piece
relight.
of last night. There's that little piece of last
Right.
night that's going to perpetuate this morning.
Yeah, but usually when I have a little piece of last night, they have to go home. But that's probably something different we're talking about. But anyway,
Once again,
yeah.
not for dissection on a public platform, unless you want to go for it.
You know me. I go for anything. But I want to just say this to Centauri. Thank you very much. I feel like Bill Murray. I'm in a tuxedo, and it's Centauri time. So as we say, Geo to our friend Usman.
Geo, it's
Geo,
Ribena time. Best British drink there is.
there you go. Geo, and cheers to everybody. Or L'chaim if you're Jewish.
And since we're on that theme, L'chaim.
L'chaim, and it's our holiday this week. Apparently, who knew?
Yeah, but that's why London's empty. Absolutely, London is absolutely bloody empty.
They're all in Miami. I know they're all in Miami. My people,
So am I. So am I, sir.
So are
In
you.
this head, that's where I am.
I actually asked a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. He said he just came back from the Promised Land. I said, "How did you get to Israel?" He goes, "No, I was in Miami." I'm like, "Ah, close enough." So it's like it's
Very good.
crazy. I got a million of them stay around. In fact, we told a joke on Vaguely True that I heard 20 years ago. And the comment back was, "Oh, you watched Joe Rogan." And I was like, "No, I watched the comedian 20 years ago, like on Merv Griffin or whoever who did the original joke." And the joke was about the
Merv Griffin.
Falkland Islands. Remember the
Oh, yeah.
Falkland Islands when you guys invaded the Falkland Islands?
Well, I didn't.
Well,
My
not you.
previous-
But I'm saying the country you're living in today. They invaded the Falkland Islands.
Yes, we British.
Okay.
We
The
British.
British.
We British invaded we did not invade the Falkland. We
There we
took
go.
the Falkland Islands back.
Mm.
They were ours originally.
Yeah, so is this country, but that's not happening. Anyway, so the joke goes, and I said I was at university with a friend of mine from Brooklyn, and the guys from Brooklyn, they're not the smartest tools in the shed, and the teacher's talking about the Falkland Islands, how they got invaded, and my friend from Brooklyn says, "What Falkland Islands are you talking about? There's the Hawaiian Falkland Islands, there's the Cayman Falkland Islands," and I'm like, "No, the Falkland Islands." He
The
goes,
Falklands.
"The Falkland Islands." He goes, "There's so many Falkland Islands." And I said, "We'll explain it to you later about the Falkland Islands." So we told that joke on another show, and somebody's like, "Oh, you copied Rogan." And I'm like, "I don't want to be rude, but Rogan copied some guy from 20 years ago." So just so we're clear. But, it was nice that the fan brought that to our attention. And I was just happy that they watched the short. So there you go. But anyway, We can discuss anything.
all interaction is good interaction. Even when people tell you to
Oh.
fuck off, you say, "Yeah, come over here and say it to me,"
Mhm.
and that's the
Good
way
they
it
will.
works.
That's why we drink Satori. Yes.
I'll drink to that too.
I'll drink chin. Chio.
Here's to belligerent fans.
Love belligerent fans. They're the best.
I love
I like
belligerent
the
fans.
I like when they comment and they try to correct us on something, and I'm like, no, I don't think you have that fact right. But we're always nice. We try. I will say this: we're probably one of the very few shows that we do really try to answer everybody's comment, whether we give it a thumbs up or we say thank you. We really do try to answer it. Some of them just go off on like a 40-page tyrant, and we're just like, we can't even respond. But for the most part, we do answer when our fans write a question. We try to answer the question, or ask, say thank you. We try to help them out. We think it's
That's the way.
proper.
That's the way it should be. But
Yeah.
that reminded me. Oh, whether Usman has gone
Paywall.
away. So the next week,
Yes.
we must do that. The interactive show
With
with
fans.
everyone. That's right. We'll
With the
sort of like
fans.
start. I think answering questions. I might have a little surprise guest on as well for you.
Ooh.
I always
Male or
make an effort to
female?
do something slightly different.
Okay.
Let's see who I can have on of notable value that might be able to answer cigaring kind of questions better than I could answer them. Not as well as you answer them, Stephen, because
Oh
you are
yeah, I
obviously
can answer
you
absolutely
are
nothing.
you are a shining beacon of the cigar smoking community.
I'm so shining beacon that Cigar Keeper has paid me not to become an ambassador. That's what a
This is
shining
the
beacon.
this I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't
It's
say it. You just
I
said
got a nice letter. I got a nice letter from Kirby. He goes, "Love your show, love you, all your friends love you. Here's money. Please don't be an ambassador for us." I'm like, oh, it is what it is. So there you go.
he's your local yokel, as we say, isn't he?
Well, he's
Local,
local.
but in
He's
U.S.
local.
terms, that's local. Even
Yes,
3 hours
and
away is
he's
local.
he's in Dallas, Texas. I always thought he was in Austin because every time I see him, he's doing something in Austin, and I was like, "Oh, you live like right around the corner from me." And then he invited me to come over and have a stogie, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have." I'm so excited to meet Kirby
You
and
mentioned this.
Cigars,
No, you
and we
said
did.
this word before, stogie, and I've heard stogie explain the etymology of stogie.
I don't know. I'd have to actually look it up, and I can do that if you'd like. But
Because
let me look it up. Go ahead.
stogie, I wonder what a stogie is. Actually, it'll be interesting because we don't really use the word stogie here
Yes,
in
I
the
know that.
UK. It's slightly an obnoxious US term for a
Okay,
fine
so we'll
Cuban
just call them
cigar.
cigars. Okay, it's a slang term for
Oh yeah.
any type of cigar, often used to describe. Oh, it's so well, we can't use stogie ever again. It's often used to describe cheap or roughly made cigars. The term
You
comes
mean
from. Wait. Here's the origination. The term comes from the long, thin cigars smoked by the Custogian wagoners in the 17 and 1800s. Now I will never use stogie again. Um, I was invited to smoke a cigar with Mr. Kirby, and I could not make it because I was in meetings. And I told him
Cuban?
that
Cuban or non-Cuban?
with Kirby, I'm assuming they would be Cuban, and he invited a few other people, and they were like listing the cigars they were bringing. And the fact that I was crying that I couldn't make it because I was seeing the cigars that were going to be there, and I was just like, if you're like one of those people that like to watch the Emmys or the Golden Globes, it would be literally your favorite or
Hello.
movies there, and I was just in tears that I could not make it. But I did tell Kirby I will get there at some point. I will let him know. And next week I'm in California, so I don't think I'll be seeing Kirby next week either. So there you go.
At some stage you should, because the for those people who know and for those people who don't know, the Cigar Keep is a online. It was an online
It's a
entity.
forum.
Sorry.
It's like a forum, right?
No, Cigar Keep is an online entity that was set up for cigar aficionados to upload their cigar, uh, mainly Cuban cigar sort of interest, what they like, upload their boxes and sort of exchange, sort of
Right.
a swap shop,
Okay.
not necessarily for money exchange, but sort of a swap shop. Like, I've got a box of this, you've got 2 boxes of that, let's trade, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And for enthusiasts to upload their articles and pictures and things like that. Uh, dare I say it, a Facebook for cigar aficionados,
Okay.
something like this. That's the closest thing. And so this particular entity, and the reason I'm talking about it right now is you mentioned Kirby. Kirby's the guy who bought this sometime last year from the previous owners, and he's setting out to revitalize it and re-energize this something that's sort of gone kind of a little bit awry and a little bit stale.
Right.
And that online forum, that online Facebook has certain cigar keep ambassadors, which these ambassadors come from different areas of cigar smoking. Some are enthusiasts, some are technical aficionados, some
Right.
are Instagrammers, some are sort of regional organizers of cigar events. So there is a mix of, let's say, cigar ambassadors or cigar leaders on that. And this particular entity is being rebuilt up, certainly since the last 3 or 4 months. And that's why you mentioned. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
on there mainly because of Usman for the past couple of years.
Right.
And so the remit is to write more articles about specific cigars. Once again,
Right.
Cuban cigars mainly. I think they fray out into the Davidoffs because of their media relationships and
Right. Right.
personal relationships as well with the Davidoff team and Davidoff ambassadors. Let's put it in an old world way, and I'm not talking about cigars here.
Yeah.
Usually when you went past a shop in London maybe 30, 40 years ago and it sold
Right.
Cuban cigars, it would say purveyors of fine cigars or
That's very
fine
true.
cigar merchants,
Yes, I remember
right?
that.
So fine
Mhm.
cigars, that's a very subjective term, fine cigars, but
Right.
that I think that terminology should make a revival, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about, if we're going to start mixing this up with, the Habanos, we've talked about Habanos cigars
Right.
from Cuba, cigars from
Right.
which and also sort of the better New World cigars, also non-Cuban cigar. I really, really have to. I'm trying really hard to be consistent with Usman about them not
I
saying New
knew
World
what.
but saying non-Cubans.
Right.
I think the new genre, which I think Habanos won't particularly like anyway, but is fine cigars.
I think fine cigars or purveyor of fine cigars is a beautiful old school, old world term. And
I've done it
then
again.
hey, look at the luck you're going to have today. So, but
Oh,
I do
goodness.
like that. I think the purveyor of fine cigars, because really, when you think about it, when we smoke on the show,
Yeah.
we are the purveyors of fine cigars. Whether I smoke a Cuban or I smoke a non-Cuban, and you guys usually only smoke Cubans. And so it's just very nice that we
It,
can bring this to the people.
Yeah, no, I don't. I look. It's down to personal taste. It's not.
Right.
It's a little bit of a running joke, and I don't want
Mm,
that running joke to get overly tiresome with anyone. There is a difference between Cuban cigars and non-Cuban cigars. There is a
right.
difference. One of the
Right.
major differences is the Cuban cigars are made in Cuba, and that's a very
That's about it. Right.
indigenous local product. It has a certain feel. It has a certain taste.
Right.
Are they better?
Personal choice.
I'd say they're finer. They're
Fine.
finer
In what
cigars.
way?
So finer, more complex, more subtle, more nuanced, more artisan, more selective,
Okay.
higher quality. I'm trying to stick to words where I can actually justify these words.
Right. Right.
Right now, you'll get um the Davidoff cigars.
Right.
Davidoff cigars go on and on about how perfect their cigars are, the process, and that's great. The
Right.
process is perfect, the product is perfect. The thing with the Cuban cigars is the product is not often
Perfect.
perfect,
Right. There's imperfections
but
in it.
the imperfections also, and the imperfections don't mean the cigar's got ripped paper, ripped
Right.
wrappers or things like that. I don't mean that kind of imperfection in the unexpected change of flavor, the unexpected change of aromatic notes.
Right.
Sometimes you do get knotted cigars,
Right.
but that slightly more processed cheese and non-processed cheese. Let's go
Right.
to that.
Right. Right.
Processed cheese is consistently processed cheese. Non-processed cheese can be, sometimes a little bit too salty, sometimes a little
Yeah.
bit too rich, but it is a more artisan product. And
Right.
there are plenty of people who've come up with many, many descriptions to describe.
Right.
But our descriptions between you and me, I'm now beginning to talk about fine cigars. What are fine
Right.
cigars?
And I will say, when I smoke non-Cuban fine cigars, and I know CAO Brazilian Amazons are not considered, but I will tell you, they remind me of a Cuban there with their construction and their like their aroma and then they do have imperfections. So I do enjoy that. Some of the Fuentes Opus X ones to an extent. But with Padron, like the 1926 or 1964 series, or even their 8,000 or 7,000, I find those are too perfect because they're pressed. And I really like hand rolled. Now I know in Cuba they're rolled on virgin thighs, but and I know the non-Cubans aren't. Um, but I like the hand rolled ones because that's how you get your imperfections, whether it's a non-Cuban or a Cuban. So I find that to be very true, and I enjoy that. It's kind of like a Hanukkah gift. It's the surprise of the gift.
So so let's carry on with this way. So
Okay.
one of the things I really love doing on my cigars, yeah,
Hmm.
I do not open the band. I try to avoid opening the band
Right.
to take the band off. I like the band to
The slip.
eventually be sort of like take it off in one piece. So with a cigar like this, I do what's called a safe cracker. I
Okay.
put this against my ear and I'm just gently seeing if I could twist it without hearing a
Okay.
crack in the wrapper. I'm just doing
Right.
this.
Right.
And if I hear a little crack in the wrapper, that's when I just stop. All right, there's pointless taking the band off right now.
Yes.
It's going to unravel. But those little things, like with the non-Cuban cigars, most of the bands that come off, they're like whether it's Camacho or your Arturo
Yeah.
Fuentes, easy. With the Cuban, there is this a little bit more engagement. Let's call it engagement. You're kind of
Yes.
like you spent 50, 60 pounds on one single stick. You're
Right.
balls in. You're going to enjoy this one way or the other, if you know what I mean, right? Yeah, you're going to try to work out how do I get the most pleasure out of this cigar because I spent 60 pounds. And when I say 60 pounds, how many dollars are we talking about? Sort of 80 plus dollars,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
Okay, on a single stick. So we're going to smoke this for 2 hours. It damn well better not fuck up, right? I need to be very delicate, treat it as almost as a little friend. Hang on. I wonder if I can hear a crack on this. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. I managed to get the band to swivel. Can you see?
I can see. I can see.
Can you
The
see that the
fans can
band
see.
is swiveling?
I can see.
That's my favorite type of cigar where I can do that. Now, however trivial, however superficial that feels, yeah,
Right.
I've just
Yeah.
achieved something on that cigar, because the thing is, with then I can keep it. I'm superficial as they get, right? I
Right.
want my band on my fucking cigar. Because it improves the flavor of the cigar for me. Screw everyone else. I paid for it. Yes, yeah. There's some people who say, "Oh, let me take the band off, not to so as not to intimidate everyone else in the room as to what I'm smoking." Yeah. No, I
Right.
want my band on. It's on there for a
Yeah.
reason. Yes, it's on
That's
there
right.
for a bloody reason. It's there to tell you what it is, and also to hold the wrapper together at the end in case it starts playing and all that kind of stuff.
Right. But
Okay,
see,
so
not most people don't know that. Most people don't realize that you keep the band here or there on
on.
because if you take it off before the band gets enough heat, where it will either, like you're doing, turning it or peel off,
Yeah.
that it'll also peel your cigar. And so a lot of people think people are showing off, and it has nothing to do with showing off. It has to keep the the construction of your cigar the way it should be so you can enjoy it, not be going, I have to paste my leaf down. So, it's not to show
Ultimately,
off.
no,
It's your
ultimately it's
thing.
your cigar. Do what you want with it. Yeah, put
No,
your
don't
cigar
do
in
the
one
right
ear and
thing.
try and push it out of the other ear if you feel like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do the
but
right thing.
my
Yeah,
rationale for doing that is to keep that band on as long as possible because I'll try and move it lower and lower down to the head of the cigar.
right.
And there comes a point where you have to slide the band off, and I literally I will smoke if I'm really enjoying a cigar. I'll smoke until my fingers burn.
Ooh,
I can feel it. No, I'm not. This is the way I am.
yeah,
And I strongly suspect this cigar is going in this direction. I've been enjoying it immensely. Apart from the splendid conversation that I'm having with you, I've been enjoying this cigar
right,
immensely. But the added bonus, the cherry on top, is that band I managed to slide up. However
right.
silly, petty, whatever anyone says, I enjoy that. And we each to their own. Everyone has, and then someone will use. So I don't recommend personally using toothpicks to
But you
sticking a
do.
toothpick is. No, I don't. I use this young device,
There you go.
my old letter opener. Toothpick, you get the woodiness of the toothpick. It distorts
Okay.
the flavor of the cigar totally. You need a metallic, non-reactive, like a cigar spear or something like that. But even with
Right.
cigar spears, the cigar can twist on that. So sometimes a two-pronged cigar spear is quite good because it holds it in place, or
Okay.
something that's got I don't know if you can see a
Oh,
flat edge to it. It's my little sort of. Can you see
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It's not a cigar spear. It is a letter opener.
Gotcha. It's very nice. I get down to a certain point and I'm sort of like, yeah, the cigar's good. I'm done. Like I've had it. I'll light another one. But I do, Mr. Ali Khan, one of our fans, because he's here every Saturday. So thank you. He says, I second Riz's 100 Cubans have
He gets a
eliminated
salute
the
from me.
surprise, whereas with the non-Cubans, you know exactly what they're going to be like. They always taste the same. They smoke. They would never be plugged. No, I've had some non-Cubans that you have to literally get the special tool out that Usman brought us to unplug them because the draw on them is like someone that
What are we talking
day
about here? What are we
wasn't
talking
happy.
about here?
Cigars.
Oh,
What are you
right.
talking about?
No, I don't
What
know
are you
where
thinking
you
about?
went with that. There are some non-Cubans that I've been
If
with.
you read what would be really cool. I mean, I know it's your show. If you would read the comments, you would know what we're talking about.
Well, it's clearly not. You're talking over me.
No, I'm not. I was talking about the thing.
Yes, you are. There you are.
Oh, it's gonna be like this now. Hey, vey. So, but anyway,
Oy vey.
oy vey.
Oh, we've come back to our roots this week, have we?
Just listen. We're doing the whole Passover Shana Tova thing. It's I'm gonna talk like an old Jewish man today. I'll be,
Very good.
hey, it hurts when I do this.
What were you expecting me to say?
There you go. Oh, it hurts when I do this. Don't do that. So it's like the old joke about the rabbi.
Have you got one of those black fedoras with the curly locks hanging down? This is when you put that on going
No,
to
first of all,
synagogue.
the curly locks are called pay socks. And no,
There you go.
those are, by the way,
I was being open and generic so everyone
yes,
can
I know.
understand what I
First of all, I'm not a real Jew. I am a fake Jew. I have cheeseburgers. I eat pork, Asians, whatever I can. But anyway, so I don't mind that. Now my yarmulke, the little skull cap we wear, mine has a propeller on it. So when I go to synagogue, my rabbi loves me because he's like, oh, good, Steve's here because he's the only guy with a propeller on his beanie. So I'm like, hey. It says I have to cover up for God. It doesn't say I can't put a propeller on my beanie cap. So, I enjoy my religion. So, what can I tell you? Plus, as Roll always brings up on Vaguely True, we have space lasers. So, what are we going to do? So, there you have it. So, all I remember is last week's show, one of the shorts that we did, we were talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis. And if you remember, we were saying the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Usman was like, "Yeah, we shouldn't talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have 2 Pakistanis and a Jew. That's not going to be good." So, and that video got lots of likes from all the government agencies. Apparently,
it didn't
that
get
watched
any
it.
likes. It didn't get any likes because of Cuba or missiles or Pakistanis or Jews. It got likes because I felt at that stage that there would have been one man in charge who could have solved it there and there.
Here we go. Here it comes. Go ahead. Get it out.
You're
going to.
I didn't even mention Donald Trump once.
I knew. Let's see. Hey, only 43 minutes it took you to get to Donnie's name today. That's congratulations.
The discombobulator of discombobulators.
I'm surprised Donnie has not showed up on the show yet.
I've got shitloads of money and I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. And I think, what else is money for? If it's not to empower you to say, some people feel, they can't say things or can't do things. Right. And politicians always like kiss ass and this and that. Donald Trump doesn't kiss anyone's ass, right?
Yeah, I agree.
He's right. This is how I want it. And tomorrow I can change my mind, but maybe I won't. And maybe I won't. Yeah, and that is a very, very, from a sort of a leader, why should you let the other side know what you're thinking, ever? Even your own side, why should you let your own side know what you're thinking?
Or why would you even think, I think is the way you have to look at it.
Or not.
Or not.
As may be the case. There you go. So if you're playing chess, you don't tell the other person your moves before you play them.
Right. I like to play Chinese Go though, because it's
You
more
like that? That was
intense.
a great one. That was a
I
great
like
one. That was a great.
I like that.
That's going up on the shorts.
Yep. I like playing I like playing Go. I like that. I like the strategy of Go more than chess.
Yeah, but you don't tell the other side the strategy. You
No.
play poker faced,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to pretend you're losing before you win. And
Mm,
sometimes you actually are losing, but you don't want the other side to know it. And it's a game of life is a game of smoke and mirrors if you're in charge, I'm sure.
that's true.
If you're not in charge, you're just the sheep going.
Yeah. Did you ever when you were a kid, did you ever play Risk?
Oh, I love Risk. I've
I
played it
love
for a
that.
long, long time.
Yeah.
World domination. Now there's a game. Now
Yeah.
there's a board game that would have benefited as a kid from cigars around the table. So if we've been smoking cigars and playing Risk,
Could you
and
imagine?
that's no. That is maybe a two-cigar game, two big cigar game. That's a
Yes.
4-hour game. Where no, what a wonderful memory you've evoked just now.
You're welcome.
One of the great pastimes, which I don't think
Yes.
people do enough, play a game of chess, smoke a cigar. Play a
Yes.
board game like Monopoly or Risk or Scrabble if you really want to get very intellectual, and smoke a cigar. Time passes, the conviviality increases, world domination is easier,
Right.
losing is easier because you're happy regardless. And
Yeah.
that's why I've always thought of this as more. Actually, this is more than a truth serum. It's a happy machine. It keeps
Mm.
you going. It lets your thoughts develop. It lets your conviviality develop, and it lets your gameplay develop.
I use cigars in business a lot. When I have to have a meeting, I always find out if we can smoke cigars because what I found the cigar will do in a meeting is I may know what I want to say, but I can take a few puffs,
Mm.
look like I'm going to say something, take a few more puffs, and then say my thought. And it's
Mhm.
just keeping people on the edge, which is kind of one of those Onassis type things. Like what Aristotle Onassis used to do. It's just you keep them on the edge and they never know what you're thinking. And he used to wear sunglasses in meetings because he never wanted people to see his eyes. I don't care about my eyes, but you know.
Incidentally,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at my cigar. It's suddenly developed a little bit of sweetness, and you can
Mm,
kind of get it on the edge of your lips. Let me just show you. So the outside leaves are called a wrapper. Can you see the wrapper there?
yes, it's
Now, in
beautiful.
an ideal world, you shouldn't have the black line so pronounced, that sort of
Right,
semi-charred line in an ideal world. But I smoke a little bit heavy. I smoke a little hard. So there's a
right.
little bit more heat generated in my cigars. Um, I'm trying to make an effort. Oh, so I can just show you the thickness of the wrapper. It's actually quite thick wrapper. It's holding the integrity of the cigar quite well.
Right.
I am making a concerted effort as of late in the last 2 or 3 weeks to go slightly slower on my cigar smoking.
Thank God.
No, what I
Mm,
mean is this. I don't mean smoking less cigars. I mean taking a cigar, and if so, this Galanes normally is a 45-minute smoke for me.
All right. Well, we've been smoking it for 48. So congratulations.
48, and I'm only, what I say, maybe just under 2/3 of the way through, but
Right.
I'm loving it, and primarily because I'm talking a lot more than puffing. And I
Right.
think this is the way to smoke a cigar. Even if you're smoking on your own, find something to slightly slow down.
Yes.
If you're a fast smoker, I mean, there's some people. I am a fast smoker,
Right.
but now I'm watching. I'm trying to take lessons in this severely old age that I've got to from other people. Other people, whether they're younger or older than me, smoking slower does increase the enjoyment. It's like just chewing your
Mm,
food more, isn't it? You
yeah.
just get more flavor out of it.
Yep.
Um,
I've
And that,
always
we
smoked
as kids
slow.
we were told to chew our food to get the
Yep.
full. It was sort of swallowing gulps of steak.
Right. Right.
Chew the steak, get the
Yeah.
flavor out of it, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and I will tell you that when I was taught to smoke cigars, my grandfather said, a cigar is like a woman. You take your time with it. And I've always learned that. And I've always done that. And I just take my time. I enjoy my
You,
cigar.
you very lucky fellow. You said a very important word just now. When you were young, you were taught to smoke
Yes.
cigars.
Yes, I was.
And I know, and you probably don't necessarily mean formal training, but sort of the hints and guidance. Oh, if you're going to light that, light it this way.
Right. Right.
I did not have any of those things. I basically had to Well, my cigar journey started by stealing cigars from my father, which he didn't mind too much, right?
Right,
But
right.
I never really had that formal process. So I kind of I'm a little bit enjoying retro learning, if you know what I mean. So I've done the
Mm,
hard part, smoked loads and loads and loads of cigars. Now I'm smoking in a different way.
right, right.
And there is I have to say, a greater level of appreciation involved in
Yeah.
that. So,
A cigar is nothing more than like a fine scotch, a fine woman, a supercar, or an old vintage car. You want to take your time and enjoy it because that's an hour or two or whatever it's going to be. That's your mini holiday. You're not really getting that time back, so you have to enjoy that time with it. And that's how when I smoke a cigar, I'm sorry, I smoke a cigar. Yeah, yeah, when I smoke a cigar, I want to enjoy it. Whether it's with my mates, whether it's by myself, whether it's at a meeting, I want to enjoy that moment. And to me, that's the most important thing that in my mind about a cigar and being with your friends when you smoke them or by yourself is the moment. Whether it's a small little Robusto or it's a big Churchill, you have to enjoy that moment.
this one's outstanding.
Well, you should thank your friend.
I am. This
Oh,
one's
okay.
outstanding. This one's outstanding.
Hmm. And what were you smoking again? Tell everybody.
It's the Por Laranaga
Oh,
Galanes cigar that disappeared from the UK market for maybe about a year or so. It's been
okay.
back for the past couple of months. This one is an aged one, so this is out of someone's humidor, personal humidor that's been sitting around. They've been aging. I don't know. I can't remember. I was given this last night. I was slightly tipsy, so I don't remember what year this is from.
Shocker. Okay.
I was at upstairs at Langan's, the members club, where when you visit London, you will be taken upstairs in
Ooh.
Langan's to smoke a fine cigar.
Do I have
And
to wear my tuxedo or just do I not have to wear pants
you
or how does that work?
wear whatever you want. That's
I want to
I
wear
go
a
like
tux.
this. I go like
I'm
this,
sure.
and to this day, I haven't been thrown out.
I'm going to wear a
Um,
tux. I think everywhere we go in London, wherever we do, I'm going to wear a tux. I think that's going to just be too much fun.
Look, actually, can I share a story with you?
Please.
On that note, on the tux note, I had an invite 2 evenings ago. I went to Hackett in London on Savile
Okay.
Row.
Very nice.
So me and a couple of friends, we went to Hackett. They had a sort of a canapes and drinks kind of event, which they were doing in association with Salon Privé, which is the organizer of these classic and supercar events in
Yeah.
London and in Blenheim Palace.
Right.
I thought there was going to be maybe 100 people there. There was about 25, 30 guests. It was absolutely
Oh,
lovely. I had the canapé table to myself. And I
nice.
had the best canapé. Sorry, I'm building up to the cigar part of this, by the way. I'm, I had the best canapé I've ever had in my life. I took photos of
Wow.
it. I'm going to after this, I'm going to put it up on my story so everyone can see exactly
Please.
what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Uh, it was tuna ceviche with mint and chilies in a tuile that just went crack, and this explosion
Right.
of this tuna. Oh, now the owner of Hackett, Jeremy Hackett, who is one of
Right.
Savile Row's fine tailors, he's got a big global brand, Hackett.
Right.
Um, is a cigar smoker. In fact, he's actually also an ambassador of Cigar Keep that we were talking about earlier on.
Is he a fan of
Now,
the show at least?
I I don't know. Um, Uh, as long as Donald Trump is a fan of the show, that's all I care.
I'm aware.
At this beautiful townhouse on Savile Row, one of the
Right.
there's lots of tailors shops. There's Gives and Hawks. There's the now you see my mind goes blank. I
Yeah.
know a lot of the tailor shops, but Hackett is one of them. It's a
Right.
townhouse. As you go in, the front section is about suits, and the next section is about evening wear. So I saw beautiful tuxedo there with a shawl lapel, and I thought, right, oh
Mm.
gosh, this looks outstanding. This is where the tuxedo connection comes in, and
Okay.
had beautiful smoking jackets. And then I
Mm.
remembered, of course, Jeremy Hackett is a cigar smoker. I see him occasionally at Tom Tom. In fact, I see him buying cigars
Okay.
there. The back room of this place is called the Green Room.
Right.
Beautiful, sort of a it used to be a cigar smoking room, and there's a beautiful humidor there which is empty.
Oh,
And I absolutely would have been in heaven had there been an active cigar room. Of course, laws, licensing laws, and all that kind of
yeah,
thing have changed and things like that, right? But very evocative of the old world that still existed. It wasn't this old world. It still existed 25-ish years ago, even
yep.
20 years ago, where you could go in, smoke. You'd be measured up for your suit, then you just pop into the back room, have a coffee or a champagne, and light a cigar,
Scar,
and
yeah,
wait for the tailor, and then tailor was
yeah. I like smoking
Mr. Abiel, would
jackets.
you please come back and be remeasured
Yeah,
for you? Oh gosh.
I want to go there now just for a
It's
smoking
a
jacket when I
time
come
and
to
place has
London.
disappeared, and
Yeah,
your we've spoken about Kirby Allison. That's what Kirby Allison I think tries to capture. That there's a sort of a 1930s, 40s,
yeah,
even 50s sort of a London, a Britain, a lifestyle,
yeah,
a way of living, a way of smoking, dressing, shoes,
yeah,
suits, whatever it means, mannerisms,
yep.
etiquettes. And then to tie into this, and this is a long-winded story, um, there's there's a really good YouTube channel that I watch, and I bumped into the gentleman that's sort of the face of that YouTube channel in London, and that's the Gentleman's Gazette, which also
I've
does.
seen that. I love
Yes,
that
very,
show.
very. I really, really enjoy
I
this. I
like
really
that.
do because
Yeah,
sort of very, very practical tips on if you get an ink stain on your shirt, how to get it out.
yeah,
If you're wearing rings, which fingers should you wear those rings on, depending on
right.
what personality you have and what you want to portray. All that kind of stuff. Really, really
Yeah,
cool stuff for the gentleman as a
right.
Gentleman's Gazette.
Yeah,
Um, but this kind of old school, old world, slightly more purer. Can I say purer? Can I get away with
sure.
that? Purer way of living,
Yeah,
sort of with etiquettes and certain underlying rules, because people tend not to see the rules anymore. The rules of maybe cigar smoking, how to smoke a
right,
cigar, how to light a cigar.
right, right.
Uh,
I was very lucky though, because my grandfather went through all that with me and even how to enjoy. He's like, they're not, I never smoked a cigarette. So he'd be, they're not cigarettes. They're meant to be enjoyed, not meant to be.
and therein you're lucky. Therein you're
Yeah.
lucky.
And he said, like, you don't finish them in 7 minutes. And I'm like, ah. And so from the first time I had one, I realized that, based on the size, it's whether it's 40 minutes or 2 hours. That's what you're there for it's the event. And so that's when I pick up a cigar, even to do the show, I look at it and I go, this is the cigar today for the event. And it's an event. And if I go to someone's house and smoke a cigar, I bring whatever, but I always bring like my little cigar case with, 5 or 6 cigars. So everybody can have a cigar, whoever wants. But when you talk about smoking jackets, I like smoking jackets because they're made out of silk and silk propels the smoke. So I'm sure your gentleman on the row there has silk smoking jackets. So that's one of the places we're going to be stopping in London because Daddy needs a smoking jacket. So I'll be
Believe it or
wearing
not,
that on every show.
I had the totally opposite view. I had the totally opposite view.
Oh,
The smoking jacket,
yeah.
the ones that are made of velvet, for example,
Mm,
or the point of the smoking jacket is when the gentlemen retired to the smoking room in
right,
their dinner jackets, they would take their dinner jacket or their tails off,
right.
put on the smoking jacket because the smoking jacket attracted the smoke
Oh,
and
okay.
aroma.
Yeah.
Take their smoking jacket back off, put their dinner jacket back on, and cut, so they wouldn't smell so much of smoke.
Oh, okay. So the smoking jackets I've had in the past were made out of silk, which may have been wrong. And they were made out of silk because it's smilk
Smilk?
or silk,
Smilk. There's a
smilk,
new one.
smilk. There's a
Smilk.
new smoking jacket. It's
We'll
made out of
hold you to
smilk.
smilk.
Yeah. It's because I'm, Scotch at 7 a.m.
Can
The
I even
silk,
refine that? Let's call it
yeah,
schmilk.
the schmilk jackets or silk for the people that speak English, um, propel the smoke away and it doesn't stay with you. And that I thought was interesting because my grandfather had a silk smoking jacket. And the reason he had that, and he told me, so this way he would smoke it and he would be able to go out and to do whatever. Look at this. Here, we'll get a close up of that because that's a beauty. There you go.
Full integrity.
Mm. See, you like to collect that. That's why. That's a beauty. And my little non-Cuban
That one's going on the
is,
back of my phone. That Galanes is going on the back of my phone. I
and you
have
can see,
enjoyed that, man.
and you can see my little one here isn't budging worth up. anything. So there you
Ah,
go.
no, but
There's
you could do
taste
the
of them.
safe cracker. You can hold it next to the.
I did. It's not going to happen because I've had their cigars before, and when it gets even down to like here,
It won't
it,
budge.
it won't. So I have to unpeel it. So it's just
So
it's not Cuban.
often is because there is perhaps a touch of glue
Yes.
that's holding the
Yeah.
band to the wrapper, which is I personally don't like that at all.
I don't either. I do not either. I like the Cubans because they go done, and I'm like beauty, and that's just. Listen, I'm a fan of the Cubans. When I get them, I smoke them. My problem is I smoke them like they're water. Then I savor every one of them, but it's like I gotta smoke. I haven't had a Cuban forever. That's like going to London. I already see my bill for cigars is going to be huge, and I'll be smoking cigars everywhere, and I'm okay with that.
Yesterday, I was sitting in Tom Tom
Of course you are.
with Christian,
hmm
and there was a gentleman sitting opposite me
Right.
from Oklahoma.
Really?
Oklahoma. A Steve Martin line
Steve
from
Martin from Dirty Rotten
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Scoundrels. Yep.
Oklahoma.
Yep.
And he was smoking a Partagas Linea Maestro, which is the new blue label Partagas that's sort of
Okay.
been released on the UK market 2 or 3 days ago. And he says, I'm an avid collector of cigars back home in Oklahoma.
Yep.
We have a great lounge in Oklahoma City, burned by Rocky Patel. That's there.
Okay.
And so he smokes, his non-Cuban cigars because they're and et cetera, et cetera. And he was smoking that Partagas, and he said, "You know what? This is a cigar."
Nice.
He just sat there with a massive grin on his face,
Okay.
and it was like the cat that got the milk, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The mouse that got the cheese.
Right.
The there's a place in Pakistan where I'm from. You know
Right.
K2 Mountain, K2.
Sure. Yeah. Not
There's a
personally, but
base
I know
camp.
it.
Lots of
Yeah.
tourists go to see K2.
Right.
Lots of tourists go to see K2. Most tourists go just to base camp to see this beautiful. So it's almost like a pyramid mountain, perfect pyramid rising away.
Right.
I saw a documentary where one of the expert climbers of K2 said, I go to K2 again and again, not to look at K2 anymore.
Right.
I go there to look at the faces of the tourists who are seeing it for the first time.
Time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the look on this guy's face
Wow.
when he was smoking this Partagas Linea Maestro blue label. I would show it
Right.
to you, but hang on.
Uh-oh. Breaking news.
Well, just to exemplify, this is actually a Rito. This is the new Partagas. How does Usman do it? So that's the new
Just like that.
Partagas blue label. That's the Rito that I
Wow.
smoked 2 days ago.
Okay.
Then normally Partagas bands are red.
Right.
Okay, so normally Partagas bands are this color. That's a Partagas
There you go.
Series D.
Yep.
Yep, they're red. When I say normally, they're always red. So this new
Blue label.
this new blue label is a much more refined cigar.
Okay.
Much more refined cigar. Beautiful cigar. The look on his face was everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it, isn't it? Isn't that and that's just the part about enjoying your cigar,
I was
right?
enjoying
Being
my
in that
cigar, but the
moment.
look on his face increased the enjoyment of my
Yep.
cigar.
And that's what people don't understand. It's that brotherhood. You may not know the guy, and I'm sure you didn't know the guy from Oklahoma, and he didn't know you, but it's the fact.
Oklahoma.
Every time I hear Oklahoma, I think of Steve Martin in Dirty
That's
Rotten
right.
Scoundrels.
That's exactly right.
And I like the part where he's sitting with his trident and asks if he can go to the
Yeah,
bathroom too.
that's
That's
right. That's
my favorite
right.
scene.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that you get to watch somebody enjoy, or you're in that, and they're having something, and they're just like, wow. It's like the first time someone drives a certain car and you're with them, and the look on their face is like they're like 5 years old again. And
Their
that's the
enjoyment
same thing.
becomes your enjoyment.
Correct. That is very true.
It's kind of an infectious thing, and I'm only saying this because I'm talking about someone who collects and smokes non-Cuban cigars solidly.
Right.
You put that in his hand, And no one's putting a gun to his head. Smoke this.
Yep.
He came in. He sat down with his wife. He was sitting opposite me, smoking, and we
Right.
just sort of we engaged in conversation. He said, "That is a cigar."
There you
And the way
go.
he said it is it was sort of like he'd just seen K2 for the first time, or he'd
Right.
just been given the 10, the 10 commandments for the first
Right.
time, or
the 15 if you believe Mel Brooks. So yeah. So
and so there is something in it. It's not
yeah.
just me blowing hot air and smoke. There is something in it. Um,
And you don't know that unless you are a cigar smoker.
yeah, because like a lot of people I see in London cigar lounges, and well, I see a lot in London cigar lounges,
Right.
is you get people trying cigars for the first time, or
Right.
oh, I'm not really a cigar smoker. I saw a couple of chaps yesterday evening. We're not really cigar smokers. What do they go to first? They go to Cohiba first, most expensive bloody
Right.
brand, right? Because the branding is so good. You think of
Yeah.
Cohiba, right? Okay,
Yep.
and that's where they start. So their appreciation starts at a different level. If you start driving a Rolls, if the first car you drive is a Rolls Royce, then how are you going to appreciate that Rolls Royce versus anything else? If you know what I mean. But if you
Correct.
build up to it,
Yeah.
you think, oh, this is a car.
Yeah.
Right. Look at the craftsmanship, and then
Yep.
if it comes too easy, then it's not the appreciation level that starts to diminish. And
Correct.
so this game of with the Cuban cigars as well, that this artisan thing. Sometimes you might not get a great one. Sometimes it's plugged. Sometimes you have to play with it and engage with it, and sort of put the spear in and sort of pull out the stem, and
Right.
that's the engagement. That's right. You're searching for flavor. You're searching
Yeah.
for aroma. You're searching for draw. And that's Cuban cigars for you in an
Yeah.
hour.
In an hour. Well, everybody, this is as always. I want to. I was going to say my both my hosts, but Osman. We hope everything is well.
Yeah.
We send our best thoughts to you and to your family.
And I still
We
haven't
were.
finished it. And I still haven't
Yeah,
finished it.
I know. I'm very impressed. I'm very
Thank you.
impressed. Yeah, it's very good. And next week we're going to, I think, take because Usman will be here, so he better than us will be able to help you out with your cigar questions, and
I
he
gave
will
you
be
I gave
here.
you the amateur rant. He'll give you the pro rant.
Yeah. And well, sure, we can go with that. And then we may have a surprise guest, which will be very nice. For you people that don't want to look at our pretty faces, you can see us wherever you get your podcasts. Look for Two Old Farts Making Noises and look for the Habanos Cigar and Drink Show. And for you people, I'm assuming we're doing next Saturday live because Saturday live seems to get the most amount of views on the live broadcast, unless we're doing it on Friday.
Let's do it. Any questions? Any questions for the audience? Audience, start messaging them in. We'll start answering them.
There you go. And we'll be back
Like,
next Saturday.
comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't
That's a biggie.
unsubscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Just don't unsubscribe. But please subscribe. And that's it. I think we're done. We have nothing else to say other than thank you for watching. And we will go A to Z. And that's what we will do.
I'm going to ask you one last thing.
Sure.
I dare you to go to credits.
Okay. Well, there you go. We're going to go to credits.